Welcome to Be Bold Branding. Today we're interviewing the young and the bold. Sounds like a soap opera, doesn't it? She's our youngest BrandFace client, and she's an American dream. Well, the American dream agent, that is.
And I'm lucky enough to have her in my brokerage. She came to me and as an intern in high school, her senior year, and began working in our office. And then 4 years later, now she's overseeing several national accounts for us in multiple divisions of the company, showcasing her own personal brand in the state of Georgia and the state of North Carolina, I might add. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce Sydney Peck.
Hi, Sid. I'm Tanya Eberhardt, founder of BrandFace, where we help business stars differentiate themselves, and we do that through personal branding. In fact, we're the only comprehensive personal brand building system across the globe.
And I'm Michael Carr. I'm the COO of BrandFace. I was actually a client before I became a partner in the company, and we do Be Bold Branding to help you, just like Sydney, take the fear out of putting yourself out there. So thank y'all for joining us.
All right, Sydney, we're so happy you're here. We're so happy we're at this point where we get to introduce you and your beautiful brand. Why did you decide to come into the BrandFace program? Because, you know, you've been brought up through BrandFace, so to speak, and you've seen it all around you. And it wasn't a situation at all at any point in time where Michael said to you, hey, why don't you become a BrandFace?
No, I never. No, she came to me and asked me.
Exactly. So tell us what was going through your head that day. Why did you decide to become a BrandFace?
You know, I kind of just woke up one morning and decided that I really just wanted to individualize myself and really ramp up my marketing to just really be out there more.
You're in a unique position, okay, because you've been with Michael Carr Associates for a long time now. You started off, you worked for free, you put the hard work in and the effort into, and that whole time though, you know, BrandFace was a part of Michael Carr Associates because being one of the first clients in the real estate genre, then you got to see a lot of that stuff. So, you know, you're given a different vantage point to a lot of these questions. But was there anything you were afraid of, personally or otherwise, about coming into the program?
I wasn't too afraid of anything, you know, because I know you two personally, and I knew I was in good hands. I've been able to see a lot of the brands that you guys have helped others create. So I wasn't too afraid of coming into the program. But before, I was definitely afraid of really putting myself out there and marketing myself instead of just saying like, hey, I can help you buy or sell a house. Like I was scared to actually be like, hey, like it's me, like I can actually help you, and really putting myself out there.
What would you say that was mostly because of your youth? You were just so young into the industry that you had that intimidation factor, or were there other reasons that you were a little intimidated by that?
It was definitely part of my youth. You know, I used to always tell Michael that I was scared of people saying, well, you're only 18. You know, I started studying real estate when I was 17. And so I was always scared that people would just look at me and say, you could be my kid.
You could be our kid.
Yeah, like, I just was always scared that people were just gonna say, you're too young, you don't know what you're doing. You know, I mean, I had never even bought a house myself when I had first started out in the industry. And so then I think really finally, you know, one day I did just wake up and was like, why don't I have a BrandFace? Like I work for Michael, like why haven't I done this? And so I just called him and was like, can I get a brand? Of course. He's like, yeah, why not? Why haven't you done it? Like, and I was like, okay, yeah, like let's start. And so we got started, and now it just doesn't scare me as much to really put myself out there.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
you know, I have to insert something here. I don't want to cut you off, right? But because of what you represent, Sydney, it's, you know, I never came to you and said, hey, you need to have a brand, because I've learned and I knew that people have to invest in themselves. Like it has to sting a little bit, to be honest with you. If you're going to put yourself out there, it's got to cost you money. I remember a guy that trained me early on, he says, everybody pays to go to school. Like it's impossible. You either pay somebody to teach you what you don't know, or you go out there and spend a lot of money making the mistakes to learn what you don't know, right? And so the BrandFace program is there. There's a cost to it, but I knew in my heart that if I just give programs away or something like that, or I try to incentivize people, they don't really take it serious. And so it was a very big deal to me the day you came and said, hey, I want a brand. Like, what is it going to take? How much is it going to cost for me to get in this program? Because it showed that you not only saw how it worked, but you also wanted that for yourself.
Yes, for sure.
And I'm going to go off script here a little bit and ask you, you've seen us unveil a lot of brands, all across the globe since you've been with us. And what was it that, what's the part you like most about that?
I think I like most is I like the social media, and part of that is my age. That's a big deal to me. It's always been a big deal to me for really as long as I can remember. I've always been on social media. And when I started noticing, the other BrandFace agents that I know and I'm friends with, I would see their, Facebook profiles and be like, that looks amazing. And one of them, has the dog in it. I can't think of her name right now, but I just love that. And I was like, I want that. Like, I want one with Damon. I want that. I want it to showcase who I am. And I want people to choose to work with me because they actually want to work with me, not just because I'm a real estate agent.
Exactly. Okay. So let's talk about your brand. Tell everyone what your brand identifier is and how that fits who you are.
So I'm your American dream agent, and I serve my customers with pride and purpose so that they can achieve the American dream of the home and lifestyle that they deserve. We kind of decided that this fit me perfectly being a military spouse. My dad and grandfather were in the military, and I really am just very patriotic. I love America. And so we just decided that it would really fit me perfectly.
And oh my gosh, does it ever?
It does.
It does it ever. Look behind you.
It really does.
Yeah.
There are times, when we get to do this, that's our favorite part, obviously, is finding that perfect match for somebody to help them stand out. And there's a lot of times inside of that process where we are like blown away, and you are one of those people because you embrace that completely. And I'll give away a little bit of the curtain. It wasn't the first one. It wasn't the first brand, but the minute that we all decided that was the brand that who you were, it fit perfectly with the lifestyle that you have built for yourself and who you are, patriotically speaking, and everything you just said. It was great.
Yeah, there were other brand identifier options. And like Michael said, that it wasn't an instant, that's who I am. You, like most agents, if anybody out there listening to this thinking, oh, well, the perfect brand identifier is going to come across the first time. A lot of times it does, right? But sometimes you need to sit with it for a hot minute, right? Mm-hmm. You need to sit with it for a few days and envision yourself and imagine yourself as that personality and putting out those characteristics and attributes that brand identifier is known for, and making sure that feels authentic to you. And I think, it didn't take very long for you to come to that conclusion. It's like, this is the one for me. I've got this.
Yep.
I love it. It's perfect for me. And I feel like I was missing something before, when even in my personal life. And I just feel like once I had that, like, I like being called that. I love it.
Yeah. I love that. What was the easiest part of the branding process, do you think, going through the program?
It was all really easy. The whole BrandFace team just pulls everything together super smooth, and it was just super easy and a fun experience. I was excited every day, when the design team would get something back and I got to see it. I was always excited to see my next step and what was coming and everything.
Mm-hmm. And what was the hardest part of that, you think?
Honestly, there wasn't too much that was hard. You guys have it planned out perfectly, and it literally just flows super smooth. I mean, if I had to pick a hard part, it would probably have been the brand messaging proportion. And that was just because I had to kind of pull out questions about myself that I'm not used about asking, Mm-hmm. Not used to asking myself those questions and really writing them down about myself. So that was a little hard, but other than that, it was all super easy.
Yeah. And I remember that part of it, calling you up and saying, now, Sydney, you didn't answer several of these questions. And you've seen people go through this. You got to answer. But that's part of it too. That's part of it too, because you had not been in real estate that long, right? As a real estate agent that long. And so you didn't know how to answer some of those questions. But I can promise you, people that have been in it 20 years still don't know how to answer some of those questions.
No, they don't.
You're not alone.
Yeah, that's so true. Like, I remember when we jumped on the phone with you and we went through some of those questions, right? And it's because you're not used to asking yourself that. Like, Tanya spent decades developing the questions that that help show you who you are, because we dig into things that I mean, we're not unearthing, you know, skeletons in closets. It's not like that. But we don't tend to look at ourselves like everybody else sees us. We see from the inside out. I say it all the time, and everybody else sees from the outside towards us. And even the mirror doesn't really reflect how everybody else sees us. And so we have the benefit of knowing you as a person, and I have the pleasure of working with you daily for the last 4 years. And, you know, so we know that, but we didn't know in the context of the questions that we ask you, you know, how that pulled out. And so do you think that's changed you and your outlook on your real estate career?
A little bit. Yeah. It really pulled some things out about me, you know, that I didn't realize that I knew about myself.
Yep. That's good.
Meaning, give us one.
Honestly, it pulled out a lot of confidence for me. Just a lot of those answers on there were just, I can't think of a specific one off my head right now, but a lot of them I was just like, you know, it would be like, what is this? Or, you know, who do you want to market to? How about that? Like my ideal customer. And, you know, I didn't really know that answer. I was like, anyone. But no, I want to work with first-time home buyers. I want to work with people that are growing in their families. And I know that now, and I didn't before.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
It sure is. It sure is. So as we introduced you, the young and the bold, how does your brand make you feel bolder?
It gives me a lot of confidence. Before I was definitely afraid, you know, to put myself out there. And now I'm confident in that. I love posting something on social media. I like having my own picture on there, and I just feel super confident about it. It's super easy to create my marketing materials now. I've done so much more marketing now that I've had my brand, to be honest, because before I didn't know how to market myself. I didn't know what to put on a postcard. I didn't know what message to put on social media. And now it's super easy. I have everything all together, all of my images and my brand messaging. It's just all there for me, and I can create something within seconds to put out, and it's just super easy.
Yeah, isn't it great? And don't you find yourself, like, once that brand identifier sets in on your soul and you begin to really feel that that is who you are, what you do or stand for, your mind goes crazy, doesn't it? Like it spins all the time. It's like, oh, as American Dream agent, I could do this, and oh, well, I could do that too. And everything that from that moment forward, you look at differently and with more excitement.
Yes, I think of so many things like in the middle of the night. Like I won't be able to sleep, and I'll call Michael like first thing in the morning and be like, hey, I was up all last night and I thought of this great idea, but I haven't slept at all and I'm really tired now. But I thought of this great idea.
Isn't it great? It does spark that sense of creativity that, you know, that you find yourself floundering a lot of times before you get this brand really dialed in and well defined. And I understand how that happens. And it's why a lot of people say, I don't do marketing because it frustrates me. I don't know what to do, where to do it, what to say, nothing. And then when this comes about and they go through this process, it changes everything. It's really just crazy how it all works.
It does. You know, any prudent, I want to say business person, but definitely in real estate, like anybody, you have to look, you go through a period at some time in your sales career where you're like, how am I different? You know, right. We all have the same platforms. We all have the same social media opportunities, and we all have the same schools that we can go to and designations that we can get, you know, and there's hundreds of other people around us that have those same things. How is that going to make us different? But the minute that we focus on how we're different and we make that point of differentiation, it's empowering. And because now you look at your real estate career as the business that it truly is. And even though you're a part of our brokerage, a huge part, and part of the executive staff of the growth of that, you're building your own business too, and your own book of business, you know, that is important to you, important to your family. So it's one of the greatest things about us being able to be on this side of the table of BrandFace for the agents.
Yeah, now that, you know, I have my brand and everything, even, you know, like I've been looking at it more like a business. Like you said, like I'm going to start my own LLC and all that. And that was stuff before that I was like, I don't really need to do that. And now I'm like, why wouldn't I do that? You know, like there's so many more things now because I see it as my own business. Like this is mine, and I can do what I want with it, and I can work with myself. And there's all these other like business acumens that I need to take care of now that before I wasn't realizing I needed.
Yep.
That's why we call it the freedom formula, Sid.
That's right.
It is. It gives you that freedom to be who you are, even within the confines of your own brokerage, which you serve proudly and you serve very well. But you also are your own person with your own goals and challenges and desires. And that's what you want to pay attention to as well. So a lot of people do question that. Well, can I really have my own brand, even if I work for a brokerage? And the answer is a resounding yes. Absolutely. Of course you can. Of course you can.
Sydney, tell us how your brand has set you apart and helped you secure business.
My brand is unique to me, and it makes my marketing eye-catching to other people out there. And, I've had clients tell me, that it absolutely encouraged them to reach out to me because it sets me apart from other agents in my area. We, as an agent, we'll see posts and it's like, hey, I need a real estate agent. All of those posts have thousands of comments saying, pick me, pick me, pick me. Like, hey, me. And now, I can post my spotlight sheet or a signature soundbite or something. And they're like, oh, well, that's why I should pick her. She didn't just say, hey, I'd be glad to help you. Like, I really have something that sets me apart and tells them, this is why you should choose me.
Perfect. What has been the response of your friends and family?
All of my family and my friends love it. They all say that it fits me perfectly, and just everything, even in my personal life, they're like, it matches you. Like it's you. And I haven't actually any bad feedback on it yet. I'm sure I'll get some one day, but I haven't yet.
Oh,
hey, taters are going to tate.
That's so true. Yeah, you will have some negative feedback on it at some point in time. It's just the way life is. You always will. But we tell people that's for sure when you know it's working.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah, because I it's just such a prideful brand as well. It's something. It's like you're not just proud of the service you bring to people, but you're proud of your country. You're proud of that dream, the American dream of home ownership.
Exactly.
Right?
It's huge.
It is huge. And that is just everything that encompasses you. I mean, look behind you, that beautiful picture of you and Trevor and his dress blues, and you in your beautiful gown. And then you got that awesome little Americana dog up there, Damon. And he's actually the mascot for BrandFace because he has one brown eye and one blue one. And so that's his major point of differentiation. So we thought he'd make a great mascot for us. So anyway, Sid, so last question for you. There are business owners, entrepreneurs, real estate professionals like you out there, and they feel the same way you felt coming into this. They were, intimidated, afraid to put themselves out there. What advice would you give to them about becoming a brand face?
I would definitely recommend becoming a brand face. It was a huge confident boost for me. So anyone out there that's not feeling confident in their marketing or even just themselves, having your own brand really does give you that confidence to put yourself out there. And then again, you get to meet so many great real estate professionals around the world and even the country. And I mean, I got to expand my real estate network with so many people and so many other people that have set themselves apart and that I know I could trust with clients that I have moving to different states. And it's just, I would recommend it. I don't know why anyone wouldn't do it.
Good answer. You're hired. Again. Well, Sydney, thank you so much for your young and sage advice. We think you are absolutely full of wisdom. We love your enthusiasm coming into this, and you make us very, very proud. And we are so honored to have you in the BrandFace program and in our lives on a personal level as well. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Yep. This is the beginning. There's so much more to come, and you've done such a great job with this, like you do everything. So we're looking forward to the future. And hey, guys, look, if anybody out there has any questions about a brand or the things that we talk about when we're talking about setting yourself apart or differentiating yourself, we know that we get these conversations. Sometimes people talk about whether or not is a brand going to take a long time? Well, I got to, is I'm going to put all this work into it or whatnot. So what we did, knowing that today is the day, is we came up with discussyourbrand.com. For those of you who might be on the fence, go to discussyourbrand.com and you can schedule a 30-minute free session to discuss branding or anything to do with your marketing.
Yep. And if you were inspired, as we are by Miss Sydney here today, make sure that you like, share, and especially subscribe. Hit that subscribe button and be the first to know when we have new content coming out like this, which we do on a regular occasion, guys.
All right, folks, listen, we know that it is about prosperity. And that's the whole reason that we teach. It's the whole reason that we attract people just like yourself. But we're not talking about prosperity just in numbers or money, right? We're talking about prosperity, the 360 of an abundant life. And we know here at BrandFace that prosperity favors the bold. So we say be bold, especially with your brand. Thank you, Ms. Tanya, and absolutely thank you, Ms. Sydney.
Thank you both, guys. And we will see you next time on Be Bold Branding.